Today's voiceover talent is more than just a pretty voice.
Pretty voice.
Today's voiceover talent has to be a boss.
A boss.
Join us each week for business owner strategies and success with your hosts Anne Ganguzza and Gabrielle Nistico, along with some of the strongest voices in our industry.
Rock your business.
Rock your business.
Rock your business.
Like a boss.
Like a boss.
Rock your business like a boss.
Rock your business like a boss. A VO boss.
A VO boss.
A VO boss.
Hey everyone, welcome to the VO Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Anne Ganguzza, along with my bestie, Gabby Nistico. Hey Gabby.
Hi.
Gabby, I'm so sorry I was late. I had to get an audition out the door.
You're always late.
I know, I'm always late, but I had to get an audition out the door. Well, it made me think, because, I drop everything to do my auditions for my agents, that maybe that's something we should talk about today. Agents and their role in the industry, and do we need them? Do we not need them?
There are two distinct sides to that argument, conversation, whatever you want to call it right now. And I think I've heard a little bit of everything. And you and I really, I think, represent both ends of that.
Oh, I agree.
And what's happening in voiceover.
I think agents they really have it tough. I mean, we all have it tough in this industry, but I think agents are finding it tough as the years have gone by with advances in technology. Their job has kind of shifted.
Oh, yeah. I mean, geez. There's no doubt. They've suffered two, I think, catastrophic things over the years. One is the terrible, terrible Hollywood stereotypical image of what an agent is and how they operate, and how poorly they are typically portrayed. Technology is kicking their ass, and all of these new ways of being able to shop and buy and book talent have really damaged the bottom line for a lot of talent agencies. I mean, we've seen a lot of agents shut the doors in recent years.
Back in the day, their responsibilities were typically they got the clients, and then they had a roster of talent where they would present to their clients and then ultimately handle the tasks of negotiation and presenting, potential talent to the clients and all of that good stuff. So they definitely had their work cut out for them back in the day, and they were responsible for maintaining those relationships and maintaining relationships with their talent roster. Today, I think, with the technology advancements where a lot of people are, handling their own jobs and negotiations, that has hurt them a little bit in terms of, I think, the amount of work that passes through them. However, they're still very well respected for their work and their negotiation skills in helping voice talent get the rates that they're worth.
Everything that you just described is still taking place today. It's not like any of that has stopped. It's just a little different now. But ultimately, a good talent agent who has a solid reputation, that's precisely what they do. They build and cultivate relationships both with talent and with buyers. And they become a go-to resource for people who are shopping for voice actors. And they also negotiate the terms of the job, the payment. They handle the monetary end. They handle really all of the administrative components of the booking. And certainly when you get into the difference between a union booking and a non-union booking, we see some really big differences there, because a union booking can be incredibly complex. And it just has so many moving parts that an agent is so much better prepared to manage those affairs and help us out with those things. And really the percentage of money that we, quote unquote, lose for their service, in my opinion, is more than worth it.
I never really considered it a loss. I considered it, a payment for work done.
They work for it. What is happening in your voiceover career, I think, ultimately is what answers that question of whether agents are necessary in your business model or not.
You get a lot of your work from agents, right?
In my business model, they are paramount.
Yeah.
My agents are easily 80% of my total work.
And that is because your concentration is in a different genre of voiceover than, let's
commercial,
say, mine.
Yeah, and promo.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I need that team. I need that. And that's the way I look at them. My agents, my reps collectively, they make up an external team outside of my office that helps me to expand my reach, expand my marketability and get me in front of buyers that I wouldn't necessarily be able to get in front of by myself.
So then I'm going to kind of make a statement that I think agents today and of the past as well dealt primarily in commercial genres, promo genres, maybe some animation.
Primarily, agents are going to take the biggest interest historically in jobs that are high profile and broadcast. Those jobs have the most meat on the bone. They can make a living off of 10% of those jobs.
Yes, yes.
They can feed their families and keep the lights on and do all of those things with 10% of that income. Whereas some of the newer genres, the newer technologically based genres, they don't come with that big a price tag. They don't come with those higher rates. So really, for an agent, and I'm not saying that they would turn them away or that they wouldn't try to help get those jobs cast, because many of them do, but they're tiny. And
and they're not typically residual either.
Yeah, and you think about it and you go, okay, guys, a $400 job. Let's be realistic now. If you have a talent agent that you're signed with and that agent works for an agency, a larger company, if you book a $400 job with them and they take 10%, that's $40.
Yeah.
But then there's a breakdown even further, right? Your actual agent, the person who did all that work, might only make $10 on that. It's kind of crazy.
If you are a voice talent and you are in that genre, or that's your primary focus in that genre, to get work in that genre, I think agents are absolutely a necessity. And even for someone as myself, who my main focus is not necessarily commercial or in that genre, I also have agents. I just get a less percentage of work from them because my concentration is in a different genre, in different areas where. And I'll tell you what, if my agent was interested in, working with me as a team to get me more, narration work, oh my God, yeah, I'd be all for it. I am all for being able to be more efficient in terms of putting out a product in my business and, paying the appropriate people that can help me to get that. And I think we need to look at it as it's another opportunity to get work. I think we've said this over and over again, that really you need to put yourself out there in front of as many opportunities as you can to get work. Agents are one part of that. What percentage they are for you, I think, is depending on your genre is different for everyone.
Exactly, and you have to take that into account. I hear a lot of actors now who, they kind of grind my gears when I hear people saying things like, "Oh, I've been with so and so for a year and I've got no work, nothing's happening," and there's like this. Yeah, there's just this bad taste in their mouth about the agent, and then you kind of dig a little deeper and you go, but wait, you do a lot of, e-learning and corporate work, and agents don't book a lot of that.
If you're working with an agent, you're a team. I think anyone that has an opinion that, oh, I'm not getting any work from them has not heard that word team, or they're not listening to that word, because it's not up to your agent to get you work.
No,
it's really you and your agent working as a team together.
It really
to help get work.
And it's communicating. It is checking in. It is doing your due diligence to make sure that you are accessible to that agent. I always tell my students, you have an obligation and a job. When you're on a talent roster, your priority with that agent is to help that agent sell you.
Oh, absolutely.
It is to educate them on who you are and what you do and why you do it the best, so that they can then in turn use that knowledge and that information to sell your product. Because if you're not doing that, well, yeah, hey, there's 400 other people on that roster.
Oh, absolutely. And you make a great point about communication. I think it is so, so important that you communicate with your agent. And it goes both ways. My agent communicated with me the other day regarding, and I know that my agent is looking out for me in terms of what she knows is best for me and where my talents lie. She's always hand selecting auditions to send to me. She gets back to me with feedback. And that is just a wonderful thing, to have that kind of dialogue go back and forth. because then the two of you can really, really work together as a team and serve one another to help sell your services. It's invaluable to have a great agent like that. And on the other side of the coin, there are some agents that may or may not be verbose and communicative with you. And I think that that's where you need to take a hard look at, if that relationship is serving you.
Yeah, your agents should not intimidate you.
True.
It's a silly thing to say, but I think that Hollywood perception, people are very intimidated by, paranoid of the agent. Oh my God, I don't want to upset them. I don't want to do anything that'll damage the relationship. Yeah, I mean, smart thinking, but at the same time, like, you have to have a relationship with them.
Right.
So,
I mean, they're people too.
Right.
So you can't forget that your agents are people too.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's social media, like whatever.
And if you're going to be booking out, I mean, I think that is a huge first part of the responsibility of communication with your agent and letting them know. I mean, I'm always letting my agents know when I'm booked out, if I'm on vacation, if I'm going to be available or not. That's important for them. And when I didn't mention that to my agent, they got upset at me, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, got to do that. But again, like you say, we shouldn't be intimidated because hey, we're all human. We all have schedules. We all have things that sometimes we can't. Sometimes I can't make an audition. I try really hard to always get my auditions in. As a matter of fact, I was late today because I was getting my audition in.
When we calculate and when we tally the work that an agent is doing behind the scenes to help us book, we do have a little bit more of an obligation to jump when they call us and to assist them and to be ready when they need us. And so, yeah, many of us really, really try to make sure that we're not having to pass on an audition or that we are not unavailable for something that they need. The other thing I think people miss out on a lot is the other perks of having an agent. And they go beyond just this person who occasionally sends you auditions and books you a job. Some agents have booth directors that are readily available to help you with your auditions. And that's free. They don't charge for that.
Yeah.
If you're on the roster, you can call them up or you can schedule an on-site appointment and come in and record your audition and be directed by somebody who might have some really intimate knowledge of the client that they're looking to book this project for.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, I think anybody that knows Everett Oliver knows that.
I was just going to say.
That was his role at AVO for many years as a booth director. And so, just knowing Everett, I know how he operates. I know how he directs. I know how he coaches and teaches. He is absolutely interested in the actor aspect of voice acting and is super helpful. If you've never been directed by Everett, it's always a bunch of fun and super, super informative.
But think about how crazy that is, right? So now Everett gets top dollar to book classes and coaching time with him. Once upon a time when he was at AVO, if you were on the roster, you got coached by him for free.
Exactly. That's a great point, Gabby. And they do make those opportunities available to you. And I know for sure in the LA area, that is always the case. If you go in, you can get help. You can even record your audition there. So that's a great perk. And now, Gabby, what about by you? Do you have agents out there that you go into the studio in the same booth direction?
That's what I was going to say. Outside of New York and LA, I mean, your smaller, more regionalized reps, they may or may not have a booth director, but that doesn't mean they aren't willing to help because, of course, they want you to book. Yeah. So, often if you call the agent or you ask for some advice or you say, hey, could you listen to my audition before I submit? Give me any pointers. Tell me anything you'd like me to do different. They'll gladly do that.
Oh, absolutely. I actually got feedback from one of my agents the other day. It was so wonderful. I didn't have to go in and see them because it was LA, thankfully. And
You mean you're not having to go this on?
Yeah.
Anybody there?
Hello? Excuse me.
Sending
it was
your
wonderful.
audition out into the void.
It was absolutely wonderful, and it really reinforced the fact that my agent cares about me. And again, I have to stress that it's great to have a great relationship with your agent. I'd like anybody to go back and say, when is the last time you contacted your agent about anything other than sending in an audition, not pestering them, but
it's like the old PSA. Do you know where your agent is right now? Do you know what they're doing? It's an important thing. And there's another benefit, too, that I think people sometimes miss out on. And I saw Eric Shepard post something about this the other day with the Voiceover Agency Alliance. People miss out on the fact that there is huge benefit to having a talent agent and bringing a job that you maybe originated to them and having them help with the paperwork, the negotiations, the residuals, all of it. I turn work over to my agents all the time.
Well, I had a student who did that. And actually, I think I mentioned it before in another podcast. Somebody had approached him about, a campaign, and it was a pretty substantial campaign. And he then took it to an agent that he wanted to be repped by.
Yes.
And that was a brilliant move because guess who he's repped by now?
Yeah, that's one of my
particular
favorite tricks.
Agent. Yeah, that's a great trick. It's pretty awesome to do, and I highly recommend it.
Yeah, nobody says no, ever.
Yeah, really.
Nobody. No, I would not like that job. No, thank you. That's not how that goes.
Gabby, I know that we are on both sides here, where you get 80% of your work from your agents. I maybe get 10%. So the thing of it is that I think it's good either way to have an agent because it's also a marketability factor. Right? If you've got clients that come to you and they know you have agents, I mean, that, boosts, I think, your professional level up a few notches, that an agent also has interest in you. So, again, it's by association as well. It can help as a marketing tool as well.
Well, hey, there's also a little bit of status there, right? I mean, let's be honest. Like, there's a little bit of ego, yeah, but some of it really is a marker in the industry. We know, and our clients know, the names of some of the bigger talent agents. So to be represented by them, it's a pat on the back for you. It makes you look really good. Even if you're not booking loads and loads of work with that agency, it can still have its benefits and it can still be working in your marketing in the grand scheme.
Traditionally, agents did not represent non-union work, that sort of thing. Because it's kind of the wild, wild west now, I think it's a possibility that an agent can be convinced, if you have a good corporate client, right, that they would take on that business.
Oh, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Agents are not opposed to anything. They're not opposed to any type of voiceover job. It's simply a matter of what's the long-term benefit, right? This to me is the old show me the money. The agent,
absolutely,
like any other business professional, has to be able to see the long term or the big picture for it to make the money. And that's what we're all here for, right?
Who's to say that company, if you're doing corporate narration for them, does not also have a need for a commercial here or there, right? Or some other type of work that your agent would be super interested in. They are master negotiators. As much as I like to say I'm a good negotiator, and I am. I mean, Gabby, you and I, we teach a class on it. We've been talking about negotiation for a long time. There's still parts of this in the broadcast industry. If I were to have to make decisions, I would absolutely go to my agent and ask and or hand it over to them so that they could handle it.
And here's the thing. I'm with you. I mean, I consider myself to be a master negotiator, but depending on how many zeros are at the end of that figure, because that is going to inevitably heighten my emotions or potentially make me a little too nervous.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I'm going to hand that off.
Yep.
I would much rather have one of my reps handle that.
And that's better because we talk about that, in business, you don't want to get emotional. And the really great thing about that is being able to hand that off to your agent is that you can remove the emotional part to it.
Yes.
And I know in many instances where an agent has been able to negotiate upwards on a price for a talent that was not able to do it themselves.
Definitely. The only thing that we need to realize right now, guys, is that agents are, in many ways, their business model has been a bit damaged in recent years, and so they are a little bit more ferocious than they used to be in terms of how the deals are written and how their contracts are placed and making certain that they're working with talent who are loyal to them, and I do think that that's really important. And but at the end of the day, regardless of what area of voiceover you're in, you should endeavor to at least have a small number of agents on your team.
Absolutely. And I think they're critical to the game, to be honest with you. I really think that we need them in this industry. So I think the more that we can embrace and work with them as partners, the better off as an industry we are going to be, because they are fighting for you, the talent.
It's a huge part of their job, and they really are looking out for everybody's best interests. So even if you're non-union, guys, you may want to get into work, and I think an agent is a necessity. If you want to get into commercial work, promo work, animation, all of that, I think it's to your benefit to get an agent, get your commercial demo up to snuff, start distributing it, and getting your name out there to different agents so that they can help to work with you. Yeah, marketing to talent agents is very specific. It's a little bit different than some other things that you and I have touched on in the past. I have a cool resource on my website. It's a free agent directory that you can go and get and download and take a look at, and that'll help you in those efforts of trying to get on rosters.
Yes, and we will provide a link on our website there for that resource, Gabby, for sure.
Aside from that, guys, it's like anything else. Be prepared. Know what it is they want. Know what is going to appeal to them as a buyer, and do everything that you can to position yourself well for that client.
Go agents.
And have you hugged your agent today?
I know. Have you hugged your agent today? I'm expressing my appreciation and gratitude for all of my agents who are out there working their tushes off, helping bosses like us and bosses like you guys to get work and to get what they're worth in this industry. Yes. So thanks, guys. I'd like to give a big shout out to our sponsor, IPDTL.com. You too can negotiate like a boss. negotiate your connection like a boss, and find out more at IPDTL.com.
And I'm going to do a quick plug for an event that we have coming up in early December. We're going to be doing a fun thing called Demo Derby. It's going to be me and Anne and Lisa Biggs, and we want you to come join us for it. All the details are on Anne's VO Peeps website. I don't want to give too much away, but it's going to be a lot of fun, and we want to get as many people to participate as we can.
Demo Derby.
Yeah.
Get ready
with
for
the
some
Demo
fun, guys.
Divas.
Demo Derby with the Demo Divas. All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening, and have a great week. We'll catch you next week. Bye.
Join us next week for another edition of VO Boss with your hosts, Anne Ganguzza and Gabby Nistico. All rights reserved. Anne Ganguzza voice talent in association with 3 Moon Media. Redistribution with permission. Coast-to-coast connectivity via IPDTL.